All right, so we have a build today, and we're gonna try this again. We're building this computer, and it's gonna be in a Cooler Master MasterBox MB600L. We have a Seasonic GX1000 power supply. We have an MSI Z790 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. We have a CORSAIR iCUE H150 Elite CAPELLIX. We have an MSI 4070 Gaming Trio. We have CORSAIR Vengeance DDR5, we got 64 gigs. We have an Intel Core i9 13900K. And for storage, we actually have 3 drives. We have a Samsung 970 EVO Plus, 2 Western Digital 2 terabyte drives. And all of this is going to be built and running Windows 11. All right. So, let's get started. At least I didn't mess up the processor name. So now we're going to put this Ryzen 3 in this Intel motherboard. All right. We have the plebe silver edition box on this one. We weren't rich enough to get the gold one. First things first, let's go ahead and get this CPU delidded and put in here. I'm not delidding it, that was a joke. As a note, I always like, a lot of people will tell you to do this. Leave this on, let the processor pop this out. And then put this in the motherboard box in case you ever need to RMA this. You'll be able to send it back and they won't go, oh, well, because you didn't have this one specific thing in there, we're denying your RMA. You guys remember the old Intel boxes, the giant plastic cubes that the i9s used to come in? Yeah, those things were cool. All right, so in typical me fashion, we got the processor in there. We're gonna leave the memory sitting off to the side. We going to build the cooler. Hey, Editing Chris here. I just want to give a little comment on this. The cooler you're seeing me unbox right now is the wrong cooler. Physically won't fit in the case. There's a 5.5-inch DVD drive that I have to put in there. So because of that, I had to leave that rack in there. It physically won't fit. So I ended up going from the H150i down to the H100i. And you'll see that a little bit later on. So that explains what you're seeing right now. All right, so that's a little bit of a sidetrack on that one. So in the interim, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting the rest of this put together, because you can do that, thankfully. I'm gonna use my, all right, back on track. While we're waiting for the cooler to get picked and then ready for delivery. Holy cow, this thing didn't even come with screws. I hate you, Cooler Master. Just, I'm using you for one specific reason. I don't like it. All right, so let's go ahead and get this all set up. We can start doing some wiring. Thankfully, this motherboard comes with an integrated I/O shield, which is doohickey on the back, so we don't have to worry about putting it in there, forgetting it, or ending up in a situation where you can't access any of the little headers. Good on that front. that. And the computer we're replacing here, that we're building this thing for, is actually a computer that we're replacing a computer we built back in 2016. So it was definitely time for an upgrade for this guy. Thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and install. It's not for gaming, it's for productivity. Like for gaming, you don't need 64 generally, unless you're playing some stupidly badly optimized game. For actual productivity work, the more the better. I mean, that's why I have 96 gigs of RAM in my streaming computer. So I can stream and I can edit videos simultaneously. All right, we're gonna get this SSD installed. This has got one of the nice little, instead of having to use a screw, it's got a little spinner that you put on there and give it a little twist. And the motherboard started failing. Before I do this, gotta make sure to always remove the plastic covering on the thermal pad. Almost forgot. That would have been funny. We got that. That nice and installed. Go. That's installed. I'm going to actually hold off on installing the memory for now, because I don't want to end up having a situation where I have to like remove the cooler and re-put the cooler back in there to get it to work. So that being said, seeing as I'm kind of at a standstill because of my purchasing mistake, let's get some of the wiring done here. So looks like the last thing I'm gonna end up installing in this build is gonna be the CPU cooler. We're gonna get everything else installed first. We'll probably both have to put the RAM in there temporarily just to do like a little bit of a post test. Pull out our 4070 and set that there. See if we can use that bracket. There's some situations where we can use it, there's other situations where we cannot. Let's find out here. Seasonic. And our modular cables. And our nice little Seasonic bag. Oh, it tied itself in a knot. So, connectors I'm going to need. These are all SATA, thankfully, so I'm not going to need any Molex. And thankfully, this actually comes with our, is it the 12 volt high power here? Actually comes with the cable, so I don't have to worry about figuring that out. I don't have to use the adapter. I can just use this included cable, which is a cool thing Seasonic does. That's one SATA. That is two SATA. We're only going to temporarily need two SATAs. Then after I do, because I have to do a clone on this, after the clone gets done, then we're going to remove one hard drive from this. And then, yeah, we should be good. So we need those. That's for the CPU. And then there's that. So, move this off to the side here. Put that with that. That alone, leave that alone. That's going to go in there. And we're using both CPU connectors. Because this actually has, so the motherboard has 8 of the 5 volts here. 5 volts? 12 volts, not 5 volts. Let's get all of these cables plugged in. So, you can see what's going on down here. We have our two 8 pins here. Gonna get those hooked up. I was having a conversation with one of my customers yesterday about this. They list these as 1 and 2 in the manual, and you should always populate whatever one it suggests first. But I always like doing the one that's closest to the CPU. Just like as a personal preference. There are motherboards where that is correct, and there's motherboards where that is incorrect. Well, it's kind of a hit and miss thing. All right, let's see what the rest of these cables are here. I do not have a USB-C, which is fine. Get rid of these bread ties nobody likes. We have, on the top, we have our 2 USBs, which you needed. And on the back, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 USBs, which you also needed. All right, so as far as where these cables are going to go, this one here is going to go where these SATA cables are. It's going to be there. Actually, I'll do this a little bit differently than what I said out loud. That one's going to go there. This is the front panel audio. And then this is these connectors. Let's get these all plugged in. The USB 3 connector goes right there. Front panel audio goes right there. And we'll get all these plugged in. Reset. Power. Drive LED, power LED. There we go. So let's start off doing some cable management of these cables, seeing as for now this is all I'm going to have. So start up here. I might end up redoing these again once I get the actual water cooler installed here. But for now, we can tighten this stuff up so we're ready to go with that. So we'll go here. Just do them all in the same direction, because you're not a madman. Not spun completely the wrong direction. Yeah. Let's unplug that. Makes much more sense. Excuse me. All right, and then this one's going to come. Boy, it's going to get included in this. Okay, it's flattened. And then this goes to the power supply. And these guys, let's get these cleaned up a little bit. The main reason I dislike doing cable management this early on is not knowing where all of my individual components are going to go. But like some of this stuff is like there's only one place it can go, so I'm not super uncomfortable with it. We are going to need to use two SATA cables with this. I do believe, where's my other? Yeah, so his main drive was only a 256 SSD. This is just going to be in there temporarily until I can get a clone completed. Run to the base. Stack, so it'll be hidden behind the video card. floor. Okay. So, like I said, we're gonna wait to put these guys in until after I get everything else installed, because I do not want to accidentally run into a situation where something goes wrong with my Windows installation and then corrupts those drives for some reason. As unlikely as that may be, I don't like taking that chance ever. All right, and then as far as our power is concerned, we are going to have this. So this there's 4 on here. So I should be good for my two spinning drives, and then my Corsair Commander will go into this. And this cable is like, it's not even gonna ever see the light of day, so it's just gonna be tucked in down here. Let's go ahead and get these cables installed. Get our CPU cables, and then our full-on motherboard power. And I will be right back. The next thing we need is we're going to need to plug in this, and then finally we need to plug in these two. All right. As always, fan down, make sure you remove the protective sticker, because if you don't, it'll kill the power supply. That's how that works. And we need to make sure that as this goes in, these cables are not overlapping too much. And then you get a screw. Power supply installed into the case. All right, Emily. All right, power supply installed with all of the cables that we're going to need to power this computer. All right. And I'm going to do just a little bit of neatening here. So cable 1 and cable 2. Go. Let's get it turn that way just a little bit. All right, Emily. So, at this point, let's do the unthinkable and install our video card. It's gonna be that one. And we are going to attempt to use this to help prevent sag. Time will tell, Emily. Now, do these actually... They do kind of. Sometimes they don't. Like that. Like that. We're gonna need that. Actually, we'll need a third one. At least this isn't a 4080 or a 4090. That'd be so much bigger. Right, so we got that. And then we're going to have that. So we're going to have one shared screw with this. And then two not shared screws. This one. So that's the shared screw. This needs to slide down just a wee bit, so I'm going to loosen that. So there. That's in there. So once gravity is on this thing will be there for it. Put screw, and I need one more. So now I'll get a shot of this standing up a little bit. This will just help to prevent some of the sag. Unfortunately, it won't get rid of all the sag. As you can see, it's not physically making contact. As the card does start to sag, though, it'll help. All right. So now let us grab this connector. See if I can figure out the best way to run this. I think our best bet is to come in a little bit higher. So we're going to come in up there, and then this has to go like this. Now, I'm going to pull out a microscope for this. Reiterate for everybody that this connector, when you install this connector, you need to verify that it is all the way installed. All right, the connector, a little more light on it. So there needs to not be a gap. Get it in there, you gotta make sure that's down there nice and good. It is not so much of an issue with the 4070 and 4080 as it is with the 4090, and that is because the 4090 draws way more power than this does. But it's a good practice to get into so you don't run into a situation where you upgrade your card, you think, oh, I'm good, and then suddenly you're not good. So I'm actually going to, like you can see, this cable already has a little bit of a curve to it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use that curve to my advantage. We're going to pull this back a little bit so the cable comes straight off first. And then we're going to zip tie it onto this so it looks a little bit neater. And we flip back over to the back. And this is our cable. And now the nice thing about this is I can put pressure on this, and it's only putting pressure on the physical video card. It's not putting pressure on the connector. And this is close to being able to be wrapped like that, which is what I'm going to do. This side is going to looking for. Right here, we have a nice little cable management spot. Go around like this. And go through here. And then we are going to go here. Those. And then this guy. This cable. There we go. We got ourselves a nice little curve there. And then I still have my two SATA connectors, which are going to go into this power, so go into these two hard drives once I get them installed. Pull that out, pull that out. We'll get these cables, we'll get these transferred over to these. We're not going to plug them in again. That one's going to be the straight connector. And then this one will be the 90-degree connector. Yeah, so bottom one is going to use it. We see we have a 90 and we have a straight. The top one, like I always do, the top one is the 90, so you don't run into a situation where you're trying to impact the bottom of this case. So that goes there. And that is going to go there once it's time to do that. So at this point, we have memory to install and we have a cooler to install. So the one that we're getting is going to come with a Corsair Commander. I'm going to mount the Commander here. We're going to use these two holes to manage the fans and everything, and then I'm going to have the SATA power, which is floating right here. We'll have these two cables here, and then there'll be this one which will go up to the Corsair Commander. So yeah, so we're gonna take a slight little pause while we're waiting for the cooler to come back, and then we'll pick this bit. All right, so resume. All right, so LGA 1700, which is something I probably should have read before I paid for this. Yeah, the computer's at my house. I'll try and remember to bring it in. I don't carry it around at all anymore because it's so loud. All right, same steps as before. We got two fans this time. Let's do a quick space check here. Thinking can't do it there. It's still gonna have to be here. I'm not sure how I'm gonna fit this in here. So it's gonna have to kind of go like that. And then come around like this. This is gonna be tight. Yeah. All right. Corsair Commander. Intel hardware. We're going to swap that in there, that's for sure. All right, let's grab this. Get this out of here. We are going to need that. An LGA 1700. So we're gonna go through my normal process on this build, which, as I said, I like building it outside of the case and then installing it after that. So I guess we're actually gonna need that little Allen wrench for this. Let me see if I have one that'll fit here, which I think I do. Going to remove this guy. And replace this with our all black one. This guy definitely does not care about RGB. Line this up. With these, be very careful not to over tighten. Just finger tight. No torquing. Just get it in there. So we're going to be installing this like this in this configuration, and so that means when these fans go on here, they're going to go like that. Like that and like that. Get our generic hardware out here. Let's see if these things have charged now. Get some audio. Why are you still awake? Alright, so that's good. Let's grab our PC and let's get this bracket installed. Same deal. Peel off this little 3M thing here. Get your individual holes lined up a little bit here. go. Okay, Emily. We got that. Now we flip this back over. And we're gonna thread these guys in. So now this bracket is installed. And now we are going to install the radiator into the top of this case. So one thing I always enjoy doing with this beforehand is taking my screws that I'm going to be using. I'm going to put them together so that I don't have to do it once I'm holding the radiator in place. So you take your screw, you take the washer, because you always use the washer, and then you put them together. So the washers with this are not a suggestion. All right. Now, we're going to take this, and before I do this, let's make life a little bit easier on myself. Take these two cables, feed them through there. There's a good chance I'm not even going to hook up these RGB cables to anything. Like that. Going to go in like that. Screw hole lined up. Move this so you guys can see it. Got our screw hole lined up. And then we just thread it in. And then we just go around and we do the rest of them. Kind of hard to get around this. All right. Top panel's back on. Tight boy. Like real tight. One of these is for the pump. I'm going to figure out which one it is. CPU fan on the left, pump fan on the right. We're going to play a fun game of trying to get that in there. It's a tight fit, but it should do the job. I'm going to like that. It's going to go up and out. Installed. Now this is an especially like high temperature CPU. It doesn't cool itself very well. So when you're installing this cooler, you just need to make sure that all of these screws are threaded in like more than hand tight. You're gonna tighten them until they stop spinning. So there you go, that stopped spinning. Alright, so now that's nice and solid. Now comes the difficult thing that I need to do, which I wish I would have realized, but I didn't, is one, once this memory goes in there, it's never coming out. This has to line up something you cannot see. It's gonna go might have to take this, like actually might have to remove the radiator to get this cable installed, because I need to have this cable installed. It's just a pain in the butt. But that is unfortunately a fact of life. Got it. Yep, got it. And we are good. All right, so as far as memory goes, you're going to populate the second and fourth slots. Now that that is in there, I need to make sure that this cable stays out the way. And let's make sure that this cable goes with it. So we're going to have a cable that's going to come out the top here, and this cable is going to the Corsair Commander. So I want to try and have this pull this other cable kind of up and out of the way with it, like so. All right. Have a little bit of an angle there. Now this is me worrying that I won't be able to install this memory at all because of this cooler, which means the cooler's got to move to the front somehow. Nope. This thing does not want to walk in there. Okay, memory installed. Last little bit here. Now have our fans. Now we're gonna have our Corsair Commander. Chance I kill him. So like I said, I'm going to have that guy there. We're going to neatify this. Those guys are going to come this way, seeing as there's nothing over here. Make sure we're going to be able to actually make this, which we will. Okay. Angeline, what are you doing? Please don't slam. That's not why I'm asking you not to slam. This is going to follow this around down to where I need it. Let's see if this is thick enough. If not, I can use my double-sided. This is aggravating. You know what? I don't think this is going to close with that there. I have to go there. Hopefully that'll be enough for this back to clear. Because this is a flat backed case. Yeah, I actually think we'll be fine. All right. Okay, so these cables. This cable is gonna go in right there. This cable is gonna go into that. For now, I'm just going to have these guys be out of the way. Just gets plugged into a USB header. And I need to do one other thing real quick, which I had completely forgotten about. These cables needs to come back. So that needs to come back a little bit. All right. We gotta put good old 5.5 drive in it. Which means one more power connector that I have to run, which I had forgotten about. It's a tight fit, but it works. Which also means one more SATA connector. All right. So we have to pull out that other SATA cable. The other SATA power. And get that other SATA power run. Up to here. Because I'm the dum-dum that forgot about it. This is gonna go. Let's see where I'm running this in a second. Certainly not mine. can, okay. So, as you can see, we had to run this cable up here. Let me, before I start putting zip ties and stuff, I got to get power to it. One of the joys of a modern system that doesn't have like CD-ROMs and old style like SATA drives is you don't have to worry about what I'm doing right now. Everyone wants to get in touch with you as soon as you go into the bathroom. This one. That plugged back in, and we get that plugged back in. Alright. This computer so far, this build has been a cacophony of just oversights. And this is going to go like this. This will be zip tied because we genuinely don't need these. We just need a single one coming off of here. This is a situation where you'd want to have, like, if you were actually needing to do this, you'd want to have like a custom cable that's just a single, just a single SATA power. Alternatively, we got that, we got that. It should be in. All right. Build has already taken me 2 hours. I haven't even got to stress testing or anything. I don't want this. Your phone rang. Okay. Goes like that. Goes like that. Did you hear what I said?
Yes, thank you.
That's not going to work. Because this is going to have to be, like that. We'll see. That one, this cable might just have to stay free floating just because of the way everything else is up here. All right, let's see if it turns on. That's where we're at. See if it even turns on. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Hey, thanks for watching that video. You can check out some of the other videos for more tech-related content. And if you want to catch me live, I am on Twitch at twitch.tv/SpecVengeance, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come hang out, chat, and maybe learn a thing or two.